Evening, everybody. We're gonna give it about a minute before I popped in here. Um, Tonight, I'm gonna try something a little different than I'm normally doing. Normally, we're doing stuff with crystals and stuff with paranormal and stuff like that. Uh, Tonight, we're doing a little something with the. My light's not turning on. Hold on. Gotta plug to me light in. No, it might work better. There we go. So we got the chat already. Hey, Bud Files, how are you? Um, so, like I was saying, we're gonna do a little bit of something different tonight. We're doing a little bit of science and pseudoscience of UFOs. Um, as most of you know, UFO stands for unidentified flying object, or now it's got a subculture of a whole bunch of other stuff. I put it in our chats. If anybody can, as you come in, share it out. Uh, to see some extra people in here tonight. So uh, I'm not the expert on uh, UFOs. I don't pretend to be an expert on UFOs, but I believe in them. I've had firsthand experience of seeing one, and I know that they exist, whether it be in all in the head type thing or actually seeing. But I can actually testify that I've seen. Uh, Story behind that is when I was in the Marine Corps, coming back up from North Carolina, I was driving by myself. So I don't have anybody collaborating with that. I was there seeing this, but on my way up here, uh, traveling up through North Carolina, I happened to see what looked like really bright headlights from a truck, thinking it was a truck, possibly been a truck. But I started slowing down, thinking, okay, this person's gonna go around me or whatever. But instead of going to the right, I mean to the left, where you would normally think somebody would go around you on the road, it went to the right, and with that, it was woods. So I just kept on following along with the wood line and looking at it, going, this is kind of weird. And as I'm driving along, I happened to notice that this thing just kept on hovering right in the tree lines. Now, mind you, there's trees. So it was going through the trees, and the trees weren't going down. So that was kind of another thing that kind of struck me a little weird, is that a craft of some sort cutting through the tree line would have at least knocked some of the trees down, but it didn't. Um, no, I wasn't abducted or anything like that, or probed, as most people kind of assume and associate uh, with UFOs and stuff. And nowhere. If my internet goes in and out, it's because we're using our Wi-Fi puck in order to utilize the internet at the moment. I apologize. So if it cuts in and out, sorry. I'm gonna drink here. What exactly is science? Um, it is nothing more than a developed perception, intuition, um, and common sense rounded out and minutely and articulated. It is from George Santana, who's a philosopher, was a philosopher. Some people have probably seen this. I don't know if it's been on YouTube and stuff like that. This particular event happened September 3rd, 2013. Minor league baseball game between the Vancouver Canadians and the Everett Aqua Sox being played in Scotia Bank Field in Vancouver, Canada. They're filming and videotaping the game, and it is available on YouTube. You hear the crowd cheering and clapping and urging the team on to play well. The video clip pans from right to left over a mere 26 seconds and zooms in on something in the distance beyond the trees of the stadium. For those few brief seconds, it appears that there is some sort of flying saucer, complete with a ring of bright lights flashing in all directions, flying off in the distance. Strangely, however, the videographer doesn't hold the zoom on the mysterious UFO, but returns to the wide angle of the game, then pans further to the right. Whatever the videographer sees when he or she zooms in on the UFO, it isn't impressive or startling enough to keep him or her focused. Needless to say, within these few seconds of footage, it is soon all over the internet, mentioned in the news in Vancouver and elsewhere. Basically, the team was losing, and they figured that it was divine intervention that oh, wife is sharing it out, and I'm like thinking somebody's chatting. So I did send out the if our resident experts, uh, Chris and Dakota, would like to come on. I sent the StreamYard link in our chat, so if they would like to come on and hop on, that way we can have more of a fertile discussion than me just yapping at the camera. Linda sharing it out to the people I'm in the same chat with. They figured it was divine intervention because the team was losing at the time. The pseudoscience behind ufology. Sorry, babe, just trying to help. Thank you, appreciate it, because my phone died. As Carl Sagan put it, skeptical scrutiny is the means in both science and religion, but which deep thoughts can be windowed from deep nonsense. Even though many of us like to imagine that we have a lucky streak, and though we might adhere to superstitions such as avoiding walking on sidewalk cracks when important issues such as money are involved, we are all skeptics. That being said, the pseudoscience behind ufology is that some people believe, some people don't believe. Again, I believe, because I'm not going to go into the R. Kelly song. Um, but somebody else might not. So who's to say that I'm wrong and they're right? As far as UFOs go, um, there are a bunch of different uh, groups out there. Um, if you happen to catch something, hello there, everyone. Hope everyone's doing. Hi, Mom. Uh, you have the Mutual UFO Network or MUFON that is out there. If you happen to be out and you happen to see something in the night sky that's not meteors flying around, because I mean, some people have a tendency to go out there and look at a meteor shower or look at something and sit there and go, "Oh, it's a UFO." Tell them your story. I already did. Uh, that does not have experience, and the ones that do not something with the paranormal, if you do not believe, have not. Um, like Linda's posting in the chat. I mean, I already put in there what my I already basically told my story of the whole driving from North Carolina up to here to Maryland and seeing something hovering in the wood line. So she's a little late coming to the party, but welcome to the party. Uh, Thank you for all coming. If you can, please share it out. I'm going to try to avoid chatting. I mean, I'll come back to the chat and look and stuff like that. But it, with my ADHD, I'll be constantly going, huh, what? Uh, as I was saying, if you're looking out at the night sky and you're sitting there looking at falling stars or meteors or whatever, you can definitely tell the difference between a UFO that might be out there, an airplane that might be out there, and falling and meteor shower. Um, so if you happen to be out looking at the sky and you happen to have your phone or your a video camera or anything of the such, record it. And then, like I said, there's the MUFON. You can send it in there, and they'll look at it. They'll dissect it, and they'll. I mean, if you want to, you can send it to us, um, and we'll put it in the right hands. Hopefully, the right hands of somebody that'll be able to look at it and go, "Yeah, that I think that really is a uh, a UFO or an unidentified flying object." Um, I'm really hoping they pop in, but I doubt it. I know right now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning in England or United Kingdom, and I know they're going through their grieving process and stuff like that. So it's nothing. That um, stories such as the ones raise important questions. How do we evaluate the claims of UFOs? How do we decide whether they're credible? As we shall see in this book, there are a huge number of hoaxes whenever the topic of UFOs and aliens are involved. You can tell whether you're being conned or fooled. In our modern society, critical thinking and science have proven to be the most consistent and effective method of distinguishing reality from illusion. Even though many of us like to imagine that we could have a lucky streak and know we have an ear to superstitions, such as avoiding sidewalk cracks when important issues such as money are involved. We are all skeptics as mature adults. We have learned not to be naive about the world. We are all equipped with a certain degree of healthy skepticism. So, as far as uh, UFO discussions go, if somebody came up to me and said, "Do you believe in UFOs?" I would sit there and say yes, and then they would ask. Obviously, they're going to ask me a question of why I believe. Um, it is my firsthand knowledge of seeing or thinking that I saw something that I had never seen before. I mean, I wasn't drinking. Obviously, if I'm driving from North Carolina up to Maryland, I'm not going to be sitting there drinking. So I wasn't hallucinating. Um, but one of the things that um, there's the old saying, every day a fool is made. There's also the caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. It's one of them you have to take everything with a grain of salt and look at it with some kind of healthy skepticism, whether you believe it or don't. Um, so there's the old, let's say, there's the old thing of where where might somebody that does not believe go to see something that they don't believe in or stuff like that. Um, and it's basically just going out and looking in the night sky, whether it be, hopefully it's a clear night. I mean, obviously, if it's not a clear night, that's probably where you're going to start seeing some more of the no meteors and stuff like that. So you're not going to have that distinction, and you're not going to be. You would, since airplanes fly at a certain height, you in the cloud cover would be. It's usually you don't see it, you hear it. Whereas if a UFO is low enough, you're going to see it. You may hear it and stuff like that. And I'm bringing up another. I didn't. So if you can, you guys keep sharing it out. I mean, I'm looking at our live views right now. We got a couple on uh, Twitch, got a couple on the Smith Family Paranormal site. We've had a couple people on Bonkers, Facebook, and uh, YouTube. Appreciate everybody coming in and supporting. I know with each one that comes in, it helps our views out and stuff like that. We appreciate that. All science is characterized by the following: naturalism. We can explain, we can examine only phenomena that happens in the natural world because we cannot test supernatural hypotheses scientifically. We might want to say about something, well, God did it, but there's no way to test that hypothesis. Empiricism. Science studied only things that can be observed by our own senses, things that are objectively real to not only ourselves but also to any other observers. Science does not deal with internal feelings, mystic experiences, or anything else in the mind of one person and that no one else can experience. And the most common one is theory. Science works with a set of theories that are well established ideas about the universe and that have survived many tests. Some ideas in science have been tested over and over and over again. Instead of being falsified, they are corroborated by more and more evidence. These hypotheses can reach the status of some idea that is well supported and thus widely accepted. Uh, If in the pop culture world, a theory is a wild guess, such as the theories about how JFK was assassinated. For those that don't know, you had the magic bullet, you had the shooter from the grassy knoll. Uh, how could Lee Harvey Oswald shoot somebody in a moving target from X amount of distance away? Well, anybody that's ever been in the military can attest that we can shoot things that are moving. Uh, so Lee Harvey Oswald uh, could have shot JFK from a fixed point in a moving vehicle. Uh, uh, that's okay, Chris. I understand you're watching it. I appreciate it. Uh, Getting chat messages from Facebook. Um, uh, so when you look at the different theories that have gone on with UFOs and such like that, how can something from a interstellar or interdimensional area come to Earth many, many, many light years away and be here on Earth and interact with uh, us humans? Or are we the aliens and they were originally here and then left and then they're coming back? So it's just different things that people have to sit there and wonder. And I wonder. I know Linda wonders. I mean, she's never really had an experience. It's almost Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, drink from the pink cup. Excuse me. A lot of the things that when science does little experiments here and there, they always get ridiculed for how can you believe in this and how can you believe in that, and then you sit there and you look at, let's see, pop culture. You got Marvin the Martian. He comes to Earth to eradicate the Earth. I mean, that was with his large ray gun type thing. Uh, the Q-35 explosive space modulator. Uh, then you got Lilo and Stitch. You got, I mean, these are pop culture things that everybody know. Lilo, Stitch came from to say that we are alone is very true. What? Sam, if you want to come up on screen, let me know. Public is happy to admire science as long as they don't have to understand it deeply. Give me a second, and we'll have Sam up here. The lack of familiarity with how science is supposed to work is a major reason why the public has trouble recognizing counterfeit science. And you add an ology to the end of whatever you study, and it acts like a trope of credibility. Uh, Demonology, ufology, cryptozoology, all those ologies that are out there, you people tend to sit there and go, "Well, that's not real science," um, and they're more vulnerable to the pseudosciences than that somewhat resembles genuine knowledge. Did you have a train go by? What was that?
Well, not necessarily sure. I got a train station that's close to here.
And all I got is a black screen.
You don't see me? I see you perfectly. How's this?
I got you. I took you out and took you back and brought you back up.
Thank you. Blessings. But in regards to the pseudo, in Latin, ology is the study of. And we do have to admit that it's the study of. And the only science that is 100% correct 24/7 is that of mathematics. But science is that of progress, studying and this and that. And to sit there and say that UFOs don't exist, it's quite arrogant of the human race to think that we're the only ones out there. And huge lack of possibilities and this and that.
Rose says hi, Sam.
Hey, Rose.
I'm going to have to drop you back down and bring you back up because you are frozen in time. We hear you, but you are not.
Wow.
There we go.
But
well, no, it didn't last very long again.
Wow. Let me try turning this off. Does that help? Any better? No, I guess I'm frozen. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, you may see him and hear him. Well, now we got you moving. And hear him.
Do you hear me now?
Well, now we got you moving. And hear him.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we got an echo now.
How's this?
Much better.
Okay. Well, on the issue of UFOs, well, like I said, my adoptive father was in the Air Force, and it's improbable completely to think that we're the only ones out there. And like I was saying, it's not exact. There is no exact real science except for math. And everything is about progression. We can't just sit there and say that there's only this, and this. And every single time we say that, we're always wrong.
Right.
So, I mean, you take a look at hydrochloric acid in the human stomach. They said nothing can ever exist in that. Now they're finding bacteria left and right that's in the stomach of that. then they sit there and say that this is extinct and that's extinct, and yet they're coming up with it 20 or 30 years later of these animals that are coming back and this and that. So there's no exact science whatsoever, and I have no problem defending you or anyone else sitting there saying that.
Right. Well, when they classify something that is extinct is when they get down to a certain level. Like there might only be 10 animals of that particular species, so it's endangered species, and it is no longer there, and they can't, they haven't been able to find any extra of those species, so that those 10 are the endangered, and then they don't see them anymore, and now they're extinct, and the next thing you know, we got a red-tailed sloth coming out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, it's no longer extinct. I
Yeah,
mean, we all know the dinosaurs aren't around, but wait a minute, there's birds.
it's called evolution, as you were
Right,
saying.
right. So birds have, are basically a pseudo gene off of pterodactyls and all those other flying animals. Who's to say that our cats and our dogs aren't some form of weird evolutionary
Hmm.
dinosaur that now we keep as a pet?
Yeah, I mean, take a look at cat. I mean, it said the saber-toothed tiger and everything. What if it evolved and everything? I mean, look what we have genetic manipulation. So, like breeding animals. I mean, we turn wolves into dogs, and and that's how it goes on that. On the issue of ufology, it's a big freaking universe. It's huge, and this could be something, that could be something, but we don't necessarily know. Hell, we are a tiny, we're not even a speck in the universe, and yet we're the only ones. Oh, we're not the only ones. I mean, I mean, we can sit there and debate it all we want, but the reality is, we're not the only ones out there.
No, we're not. I mean, billions and billions of stars in the sky, and all those stars are planets or moons or whatever that were around a long time ago before. I mean, some of these stars are specks that we were seeing from 10,000 years ago
Hmm.
that are, I mean, it would take us ages to get to wherever that speck was in the sky, and it's no longer there.
Yeah, it's just a huge amount of arrogance to sit there and say that. Huge. But at the end of the day, I get where they're coming from to some extent because people are wrapped up in their worlds. They're wrapped up in their problems and this and that and everything. I get that. Um, but in life, we always have to have some amount of humility through thick and thin of what we all have and what we don't have. And saying that we're the only ones, no. I mean, I mean, the best, let me add on to it. The best science fiction movies are those of probability. If there is the potential of it being real, then those are the best science fiction movies. I will watch the hell out of that stuff. But if it's too outlandish, which most people seem to think, then
I mean, you look at the movie Interstellar.
mhm.
There is a lot of probability in that is that, or let's take something that is fairly new, and that's it's a Disney thing. It's like
Mhm.
Lightyear, how he did a sling around the the sun, and for every 15 minutes that he was off planet, it was four, three, 3 years, 4 years for the ones that were on this planet. So who's to say that an alien that comes from a different area who's got some kind of warp technology that is sitting there traveling beyond the speed of light, and they're traveling 10 minutes down the road to whatever planet they're from and coming here, and
Hmm.
it's taken 10 years of our time. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so little things that somebody may have seen yesterday. It took that alien race or whatever came from Alpha Centauri for all that matters, and they it only took them minutes to get here.
Hmm. Yep. And that's definitely how it goes. I mean, it's definitely how it goes. I mean, warp technology like they have on Star Trek, and then you got on Star Wars hyperdrive and this and that. Then there are other things, other science fiction sort of things that people rule out left and right. But at the end of the day, we have to remember just because we can't think of it doesn't mean it can't be there.
Right. I mean, if you look at a lot of the science that we go through now to get this, a cell phone, who was sitting there going, you know what, we can make this. And if you look back at like you said, Star Trek, the flip communicator, that was that was a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you think about it, and then that when everybody had the flip phone, what were you
Yeah.
doing? What were you doing with it? Bloop, beat me up, Scotty. I mean, it's the science in that. But who's to say that somebody on Earth thought of it? It was probably some technology that, I mean, we've been backwards engineering a lot of stuff that supposedly alien races and stuff like that have left behind, and now we're reaping the benefits of cellular technology. I
No, I
mean,
mean, yeah. Yeah.
every couple of years, next thing you know, we've got uh, 2G, or it started out as GSM, and which is uh, global satellite monitoring technology, and the flip phones to uh, 2G phones, which is the G stands for generation. So we got your 1G bars, and then 2G, 3G, 4G. Now we've got 5G, or ultra high band telephones that is some kind of science that somebody's obviously sitting there working on constantly. I mean, Silicon Valley is probably the hot spot of alien technology, I would probably say, because
Mhm.
everybody there has got to be working on something.
Oh,
And
God. Yeah. I
I mean,
mean, I mean, like you said, the flip phones, I mean, we have those now, and it didn't take us 1,000 years to get to it. Um, and there's all kinds of things, and you're definitely right. But what we have to keep in mind is the level of probability. People brush off, well, all kinds of things these days, and it never stops and never slows down. And we can sit there and bitch about it that people are this, and this. But to some degree, I say let them. I say let them and show them up. Show them up. I mean, you take a look at people with certain abilities. They can They can look at a person. They can look at a person and they can sense anger. They can sense this. They can sense that. You take that same person that's being read and you put them like in an MRI or something, the statistics of what energy wise is coming off of them, so like such as their aura, and in an MRI, it backs up what those people with abilities say. Um, if you go into a room full of angry people and everything, the body heat comes up. Body heat, so like their body heat comes up. If that's not an aura of anger, I don't know what is. When people are angry, or let me try it this way: when people are happy, everyone's happy. Things are working well, and this and that. And the biggest thing is that we need to remember is probability. Just because it isn't around right now doesn't mean it can't be possible. And all this based off ufology, Just because we don't know it doesn't mean it's not there.
Right.
So that's the thing. One of the things is my adoptive father was in the Air Force. So we watched the hell out of some Star Trek and Star Wars, Star Trek, and this and that and everything. And they brought up probability. They brought up probability left and right. Like in the 20s, they never thought that lasers would ever come about. Oh, that's science fiction. That's not going to happen. Nowadays, they're using them in the military for targeting this and that. Hell, they're taking what do you call it? Lasers on motorcycle mufflers, taking off the mufflers, and they're using the lasers to get the rust off of the mufflers and things like that. And they're doing it quite well and quite easily.
Right. So, do you have any experiences with UFOs, Sam?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Like I said, not as much as most people believe. I do believe that they're there. Not believe, I know they're there. My thing, as most people know, is the paranormal and everything. The closest thing I had to something like that, and I'm not 100%, but would have to be with Ron working, what do you call it? Near Area 51. There's a base called Nellis Air Force Base. And Nellis Air Force Base was very close to Area 51. And with Area 51, you'd hear this, you'd hear that, and never even made the news. You could see cracks in the ground, never made news. You can hear these sonic booms, and 50, 75, or even 2,000 people can hear it, and it never makes news. To be honest, I don't have much in that sort of way. All I know is that something is out there. This technology that we're having that keeps upgrading seemingly every 2 years. We're not the ones who can be thinking that. I mean, for God's sakes, what are we doing to get this technology?
Right. I mean, we're obviously doing something that people are sitting there. We're able to. How can I word this right? We're utilizing some kind of technology, whether it be alien technology or extreme genius technology, or thought processes, to be able to sit there and manipulate something to run faster.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial intelligence, be able to take something that does not exist in the real world at the moment and make it exist by manipulating the intelligence of a computer.
Yeah. Well, this is going to back you up, but this has to do with anime. Anime is a hotbed for probability. One was one of my favorites, Sword Art Online, and one of the things is that there's this helmet in that's in these helmets called nerve gear. And you turn on your computer, this and that. Then you put on the helmet, and you are connected to billions upon billions of people who are wearing those helmets and everything. And whenever you're wearing all of that, those helmets, in that anime, you're connected to a central something or other, whatever the hell it's called. And it's a whole different world of this and that and everything. And the thing is, what I'm getting at, most people would never even think of that. Now it's hugely probable. People are coming up. I mean, take like the Matrix, for example. If that's not probability, I don't know what is.
Or you look at Avatar, how he was able to manipulate and be part of their world, and he wasn't even in the same area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we have augmented reality with the Oculus and stuff like that. Not We're not sponsored by Sony, so I'm not. But to be able to sit there and put on a VR helmet and stuff like that, and be able to play a game with somebody, of course. Now that if you keep watching the commercials and stuff, now hate to say it, but Meta,
Mm-hmm.
the metaverse and stuff like that, with the augmented reality and virtual reality. Um, Augmented reality being if you go out and use your phone and stuff like that, you can manipulate, uh, say, like the Crystal Fox shirt here.
Mm-hmm.
If it was set to be for augmented reality, you can scan your phone, scan this on your off your phone, and the fox would come alive. The crystal ball would have like
Mm-hmm.
almost like a magic 8 ball type thing. Um, or you sit there and then you got the virtual reality. Everybody's gone to arcades and played the virtual reality, the Beat Sabers, which is
Yeah.
virtual reality. Um, so it's you're virtually in a world that does not exist, but who's to say that we're not part of an alien virtual reality?
There's no telling. There's no telling and everything.
I
That's
mean, there
that's one
could
of the things.
be there
Go
could
ahead.
be there could be somebody that is controlling me.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, I don't blame people for being skeptical back in the day, like from the 30s all the way until the early 2000s, where they see these cheesy commercials or this or that, and it's just like, oh my god, can it be more stupid? And people have that mentality still to this day, and
You
people
look
still
at
have.
you look at Orson Welles. I mean, he created a total scare off of an alien attack on the world.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
So that's
hmm.
why a lot of people are like, well, it was just a Halloween or April Fool's joke, and that he scared the living bejesus out of us. Well, yeah, it was meant to do that. I mean, it was meant to kind of put the fear of God into everybody by thinking that there might be an alien race out there that may come to Earth and may destroy everything on Earth.
Yeah.
But then again, you could look at Wally. We're already destroying our own Earth.
Hmm.
So who can say that somewhere along the line, an alien race isn't going to come by and go, yeah, see,
True. I mean, but like I said, I mean, to me, I believe it's out there. Not believe, I know it's out there. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, stuff that they're thinking of these days, no one would ever think of. No one would ever even fathom. We're being influenced. We all are.
right.
We are being influenced heavily every single day. But the thing is people are caught up in their own little worlds and everything. Not that I blame them, But the thing is that they're kind of jaded in the way that some of this ridiculous stuff that's coming out there makes things look bad. But like I said, that's where skeptical minds come in, and I don't blame them. Um, but we have to remember. But like I said, we have to remember that things have changed and things keep changing. I mean, in the 30s and 40s, who would have ever thought of the atomic bomb? No one would have ever thought of that. That was a light. That was something that changed everything throughout thick and thin. We became the most feared country ever, ever, and we still are feared. We are still feared like hell. Um, and the stuff that we're doing every single day, destroying the planet and this and that. Humans are probably the most chaotic. There are the most chaotic creatures on this planet. Animals, say like a tiger. A tiger is about eating, taking care of its young, surviving, and it stays that way. Humans, on the other hand, one minute we're destroying something, next minute we're fixing it. Sometimes we're making it better, sometimes we're making it worse, and it goes on and on. Hell, look at take like the concept of martial arts, and take like Asian style martial arts, such as jujitsu, ninjutsu, things like that. Who would have ever thought of that in Europe in the 1700s? Who would have ever thought of that? And the list goes on and on. And when people sit there and they criticize ufology, they're closing their minds off to any and every possibility out there. And that's just how it is. Like I said, I don't blame them. I really don't.
Right.
And so we see some ridiculous crap, and it never stops.
Very, very true. Well, you look at how many people are on the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a different language. I mean, most of us have some kind of Old English heritage.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that the English language is a bastardized version of all languages that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Old English, then you got the Germanic, you got Finnish, Welsh, Dutch,
French,
Scottish,
Spanish. Yeah. I mean, look at the word coyote. Look at the word coyote in itself. That's not English and everything, but it's now commonly spoke. In Florida, they're finding coyotes all over the place. But what I'm getting at, when I get off topic, the thing is that we need to remember is the level of probability of things. And like I said, we're being influenced. It's not that we might not be in control, but we're definitely influenced. And we don't know what the result is. We don't know what the influence is wanting us to do or wanting us to make. And so one of the many reasons, one of the many reasons why I'm a nerd is because I think of the probability of things. Nerds are the classic example of looking into the heavens, of looking into the earth and being criticized for it.
Yep. We are always looked upon as the ones that sit there and go, that is possible, but not impossible.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at alchemy. I mean, and take a look at alchemy in the way of the Romans, and I'll get to a point on this. American cement is very strong, very, very strong. It's not always, but it can keep things grounded, making your walkways easier and everything. But you go back to when Rome dominated Europe and North Africa, they had their own version of cement that is still going on and still working. and it's still
Yeah,
capable of making,
yeah.
I mean, it still is better than the cement we have. And we took thousands of years and we still haven't gotten it right. Cement,
You
you
look at
have,
you look at the aqueducts and stuff that are over there.
and they're still working.
Right, they're still up and running from thousands of years ago,
Hmm.
way before Christ was here, way before. I mean, so that's 2,000 plus years, and you're looking at these aqueducts were developed as a way of getting sewage out of and fresh water in
Hmm.
to a landlocked area
Yeah.
that's only
Well,
surrounded by
mhm.
water. They had to get water in to get somewhere, and then from there, they had to be able to get it, purify it so that people could drink it, but also at the same time get rid of their raw sewage
Hmm.
or and stuff like that. So the aqueducts were set up as a means of that.
Yeah.
Who gave them the idea to do that?
The ancients. The ancients. I
Right.
mean, but you take like nowadays, you got lead pipes. They're breaking down, poisoning people left and right. People are dying left and right. Take a look at lead paint. We use lead in almost everything, and people would sit there. Why are my kids sick? They're surrounded by lead. What do you expect? They're surrounded by lead. You take There's a whole lot of things. I mean, you take like the hieroglyphics in Egypt and other parts that are close to Egypt. They're still around. They are still working. They're still on display, yet yet you cut to thousands of years in the future. Anything can destroy that painting. Anything can do this. Anything can do that to these. The hieroglyphics are still working just fine. But that's one of the reasons why I'm not such a fan of most technology of these days. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it's necessary. It's a necessary evil, as we call it, but it's just not as reliable as that old style stuff that goes on. We can sit there and we can debate it, and if people want to debate it, that's fine. I definitely get it. I would love that. But the thing is, what I'm getting at with the influence that we may have these great machines, but what happens to those machines in about 2 to maybe 10 years? They're thrown out in the dumpster. Oh, it's useless and everything. And so we're being influenced. This technology keeps growing and growing, especially digital technology, and it doesn't stop. You take like, you remember the compass I gave you guys with the bug out bag? It works. That old style technology still works. Take like the cell phone when we got lost. We had the worst time getting a signal whatsoever. A compass, on the other hand, at least we would know what direction to go to and everything. You are the freaking man whenever it came to finding that signal. I mean, hands down, every bit, hands down. I'm like, damn, Chad, that's pretty freaking good. And I'm thinking that in my head. And but you take that older technology. I think they're called leggings. They don't work so well. So I will never let Linda. I will never let that down with Linda.
No,
She's gonna kick my
she,
tail end at one
she
point.
knows, and that's why every time we get on a live, she's like, "I don't have my leggings."
No, she's like walking around in her leggings. What leggings? What do you mean? What?
Hey, Chris, how are you tonight? Well, Bottle Bonkers, Chris is up and joining us too. He's not going
Hello,
to come up.
Chris.
He's not feeling well. Um,
Uh,
but thank you for stopping in,
it's
watching this
always
one. I know
it's
you
always
were you said you were lurking in the background there. So, and Linda just laughed about the leggings.
well. I mean, really. I mean, let's be critical even further. I mean, did you? I mean, for God's sakes, is a machete necessary and heavy brush? No, it's not.
You're falling apart. He just put in the chat that he's falling apart. So I appreciate you coming up with me. That way we can,
Of course.
instead of me just sitting there yapping about
Hmm.
whatever,
Well,
we can actually have an actual discussion. I think that's why I'm not very fond of. I like Twitch because it's fun. You get to go on there and play games and stuff, but I can't talk to myself. I mean,
you need to become schizophrenic. Work on that. Work on getting DID. We will help you.
I,
We're
I'm sorry.
I mean, there's an old multiple personality thing that it old saying. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I.
I mean, the voices in my head keep telling me that I need to scream at somebody, but they just keep screaming at me.
Damn, damn. They got to work on that. They need to work. They need to find
I
more.
mean, is it the voices in my head or is it me?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they want filet mignon. I don't know. So,
Part two of this will be next Tuesday, and if you have experienced anyone in the chat or that sees this after would like to share your experience, let us know. We'll
hmm
bring. We got a lot of views on it twice, huh? What? She's screaming in the background. I can't. I don't.
well,
Bring you up. Okay. She put out, but meant up.
bringing out. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going there whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'll put our stuff out on Twitch. These
hmm
things. We'll do our lives and stuff, and but I just can't talk. I mean, yeah, I know Twitch is set up as a gaming thing, but I like playing games and I like sitting there conversing. I can see you don't have.
Well, well, just how it definitely goes. I mean, what we should be doing is these kinds of like the past Smith family stuff. Put the like with what you guys do with broadcast, or even me if you want to, put me out there on the broadcast of that, and maybe we might get a different audience. I would love to hear a different perspective as long as it's debate, not arguing, but with debate. We sit there, we talk about our differences and what we believe and what we don't believe in a calm, adult, civilized manner. And that's how it could go. And I would definitely love to hear in a logical, professional way of certain criticisms in a productive way of what they might think with me or disagree with me on. And Smith family, you guys are extremely encouraging of civil debate, where people are not screaming and throwing things. And that's one of the things that I love about the two of you. You two encourage that, and there's no getting around it. More people should be like you on that issue.
Well, that's why I was kind of hoping Chris and Dakota would have come up because they are our resident uh, debaters on everything ufology. Uh, so maybe next
Well,
Tuesday,
mhm,
one of them will be able to come up. Well, probably me and you will be back up here, and we'll have
of course.
more of a discussion. So if you want to get a hold of us, either get a hold of either myself, Sam, Linda, or
hmm
even Chris or Dakota. Um, if you get on after watching this and you sit there and go, yeah, I'd like to do that. Get up with them through Facebook or leave a comment later on after watching this, and well, next Tuesday when we come back on and do part two of science and pseudoscience of ufology and stuff
hmm
like that, we'll see what other kind of debate we might have. I mean, it could
Yes.
be or not necessarily debate, but a discussion on whether you believe or don't believe.
Hmm. Well, that's
And
just definitely how it goes. And we can, and that's the thing. We're all adults. We can talk in a civilized manner, whether we agree with each other or we don't. That's just how it goes, and we can all do it. Now, the thing is, we need to be more raunchy. We need to work on that. Okay.
sure.
Well, I wanted to just come up for a bit, and I appreciate you having me again. I'm working on some stuff right now, and I'm definitely working on some stuff right now. Um, and I hope you guys like it. And always stick with Smith family and Bald and Bonkers. We love you people.
Chris is saying we give you guys a Saturday show to yourself, ourselves one night, and Sam's show will be tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow on the Smith Family Paranormal. Uh, it'll be part two of your discussion from last week.
Well, I finished that report. I know it was a little bit short, but I do have another report. This one's on witches with compared with warlocks. So this one's a bit different. This one's a bit different than I normally write.
Um,
Yes.
I think Linda meant to put that an inner court show will be on Thursday,
Hmm.
but it
Look,
says an intercourse.
that would be a great thing. You have some good
Um,
looking
I
ladies.
think
I
we'd all
would
get. I
to be
think
there.
we'd all get banned from YouTube and Twitch if we all of a sudden have intercourse on video on Thursday.
Oh come on! Oh come on! It's just a live band. I mean, it's no big deal.
That's the Sex Pistols.
Oh god! Oh god! I missed that. I. Oh god! I love Sex Pistols.
But
I'm
yes,
going to hell just for saying that.
but yes, Chris, we would. You have a Saturday show that you don't that you need a filler. Uh, Me, Linda, and Sam will definitely jump in there and have a discussion of
Yeah,
whatever.
we could do it. We could definitely do it. We could
Obviously,
definitely.
obviously, that particular show is usually about your UFO stuff. So
Yeah.
you just give us whatever you may want to throw out there. But Sam, I'm going to drop you down, and
Of
then
course.
I'll say our bye byes. Um, if you want to stick around after I do this, we can chat
Yeah.
real quick. All right.
All right. All right. See you later.
So again, we appreciate everybody that's watching us after the fact on the video, the VOD. Um, okay, so that was a little weird. Uh, my internet just went. Um, so Stupid autocorrect. You understood. Yeah, I understood what you were saying, babe. So again, appreciate everybody that comes on that was in here tonight. Uh, Fully advertised, and you will get the views. All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. We'll talk about it. Speaking of talking, I had a discussion with somebody earlier today, and we may be doing merchandising for somebody. I will be talking to Linda here very shortly about that. Anyway, appreciate you all coming in. Check out tomorrow. We will be on probably about 6:30 to 7:30 with Sam's show. I guess he's doing something a little different because he finished off the ghouls, goblins, and the underbelly of the paranormal. And then Thursday we'll have the Inner Courts here on Bonkers. It's Smith Family Paranormal. Friday we might have a live ghost hunt, possibly. Saturday I know we have somewhere to go with our friend Irene that we had on here a little while ago. The Black Feather Academy. We're going out to Frederick, Maryland for that to go see her and some of the stuff that's going on out there for the Frederick Pagan Pride Day. That is what it is. So if anybody's interested in that, go check out Frederick Pagan Pride. You can Google search it. If you live in Maryland, nice to see you out there. Other than that, we appreciate everybody. We will talk to you later. We may have going live if everything. Okay. So appreciate everybody. I'm going to. I guess this is the credits. Not sure.